Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Bristol Town Council meeting of November 15th. If you could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. Before we start the regular meeting, I'd just like to recognize a couple of things. The town clerk is not here this evening because she's at a conference for town clerks. And also our administrator is not here because of the passing of his dad. And if I could just take a moment on behalf of the council and obviously everybody here that works for the town, and I assume to the general public, that we pass our thoughts and our sympathies to the administrator, to his family. I didn't know his dad that well, but kind of like most of us, when you got to know him, he was somebody you wanted to know that much more. He obviously was a strong personality and someone that, well, look at Steve, right? Look at his brothers, look at his wife, right? I mean, look at the influence that he had and they had on him. So I just wanted to take a moment and say that obviously our sadness, express our sadness, and that I've talked to the administrator, as some of you have, and seems to be doing okay. His family seems to be doing okay, but anybody who goes through this, and we all have, it's a terrible experience, and we wish them happier days soon. Thank you. Well said. Thank you. Assistant Madam Clerk.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this. So,
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the first item on business is the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the submission of minutes for the town council meeting November 1st, 2023.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second?
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to approve. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is B1. This is a public hearing for the intoxicating beverage license renewals 2023 to 2024.
So as the Assistant Madam Clerk said, see, I'm going to have fun with this. This is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing. Typically, you would ask for or against. I'm just going to ask if there is anyone like to speak either way in regards to these renewals.
Chairman, my name is Richard Daddario. I'm an attorney in Newport, Rhode Island. I represent the Franklin LLC, which is David Fierben and John McDowell. We're looking for a renewal of the license. We held off opening. They weren't sure what the business plan was going to be, but we're moving forward. There's a building permit, working hard to open hopefully this spring with the same type of operation that we represented before the council when we got the license transfer in May of 2022 from the former owner. So if anybody has any questions, my clients are here to address that, and as well as.
Council?
We're just looking forward to for them to open,
Yes.
and I'm glad they're continuing with their plan.
Ready to go.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Tim captured it well. Okay. Is there anyone who would like to speak in the public hearing? If you could state your name and address for the record.
Sure. My name is Jennifer Medina, 6 Apple Tree Lane, Barrington, Rhode Island. I'm here to speak on behalf of Pisco and Tequila Restaurant. We are open and ready to go. The transfer of the license from the previous owners has gone through, and we're just asking that you approve that the new license so that we can continue going on.
Any questions? from the council?
No, just wish him the best.
Heard
Thank you
good
very
I'm
things.
much.
looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Looking forward to having everyone there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? I'm so used to saying for and against, so. I don't hear anything. Is there a motion to close public hearing?
So, second,
Motion made by Mary, second by Tony to close the public hearing. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is B2, Robert McNeil, McNeil Design Collaborative, Inc., doing business as the Northeast Golf Company, Bristol Golf Park, 96 Broad Common Road, request for Class BV limited liquor license.
Is Mr. McNeil here? Please. If you could state your full name and address for the record, please.
Sure, Robert McNeil, Northeast Golf Company, 118 Beauchamp Drive in Saunderstown, Rhode Island.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So you're in front of this council asking for us to, or you're asking for a BV limited license. Before you go there, our agenda shows a C2 and D1 connected. And the reason why it shows it is that we have a C2 ordinance change. C2 is the name of the agenda item, showing that we're going to adjust the amount of BV licenses or BV limited licenses, excuse me. Yours would be included if we made this adjustment, meaning this adjustment moving forward takes into account a positive response from this council for your application. So,
Correct.
but please tell us a little bit about why you are asking for the license and what your next steps are again.
Well, we're operating a golf course operation there. I think this license will just add to the amenity that we have, add to the ambiance of the property. There's been alcohol on that property for many, many years. It was run by the clubhouse off of Tupelo Road. We're a little different operation. We're not a bar. We're a golf course operation. That's what we do professionally. We run 3 golf courses. And this is an added amenity. We don't have a bar. We don't have anything like that. It's simple sales of canned beer and wine to our patrons.
Council?
So you said you don't have a bar, but so where would they be drinking this? Like while they're playing golf? Is that it?
Absolutely. Or afterwards, we have a small space where they can sit.
Like an outdoor space?
Yes.
So thanks for coming here today. And
Sure.
of course, I'm excited to hear about all the new activity that there's been at the golf course. And I'm not a golfer myself, but I've had a lot of friends that have been trying to drag me out to that golf course. And I think at some point I'm just going to have to give in and do it. And especially if there might be some brewskis involved over there. So, so my understanding then is this site is connected to the golf course, and folks will be going up to the trailer. Is that
Correct. Yeah. The site,
Trailer,
it's in the middle of the golf course.
Oh, it's in the middle.
It's
Okay.
in the middle of the golf
middle.
course. So you'll be parking, you'll come to play golf, you'll check
Okay.
in. You can buy beer right there at the check-in point.
So beer, wine, and some food. So,
Yeah, some.
Yeah, no hard liquor or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
No.
did I hear that? Did I hear that you will have some food though to accompany that?
Yes, yeah, pre-made sandwiches,
Sandwiches.
snacks and so forth. Yes, hot dogs, simple
Super.
stuff. Yeah. That's it.
So this
Thank you.
council has a picture, sorry, this council has a picture of that trailer. Help me again. That'll be placed at the beginning of the course. Is that correct?
So when you come off of Broad Common Road and through our driveway, it's in the middle of the golf course. You go up maybe about 110 yards
Okay,
and the building is right there.
okay. Any other questions for Mr. McNeil? Okay. Mr. Solicitor, so we're on B2, so the license itself is D1, correct?
That's correct. I'm sorry, that's correct, yes.
So action on B2 is,
So
we can just combine,
you
right?
can just combine them right now and the first thing you should actually do is vote on adding the additional license and then vote on granting this license.
So in this instance, we are actually removing licenses. So we're not creating one.
Correct.
So you're saying we should remove those and then,
Then act on the request in B2.
so how about this? How about a motion from the council to combine this agenda item with C2 and D1?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Aaron. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. So our next vote would be, and Mr. Solicitor, check me on this, on ordinance as 2321, Chapter 17, Article 2, alcoholic beverages establishments. Number of licenses, which we're talking about, are the Class BV Limited. We're going to decrease the number from 9 to 7. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Is there, and this is a second reading. Is there a motion to that effect?
Motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony, that this constitutes second readings. Or any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And now we're on D1, and Assistant Madam Clerk, I feel like I took your job on that one. So go ahead, you read it. So go ahead. Could you read D1?
Did you want me to jump right to that one?
Yes, please.
Sure. Robert McNeil, McNeil Design Collaborative, Inc., doing business as the Northeast Gulf Company, Bristol Gulf Park, 96 Broad Common Road, request for Class B Limited liquor license.
I make a motion that we grant a license.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Aaron to grant discussion. I think it would be appropriate that there would be a 3-month review from the opening. We'll call it the springtime. When do you plan on kicking things on?
We're open.
It's kind of cold.
Okay.
So,
We've been open since September, so we're open.
so we're certainly at the end of your season, I would
I
imagine.
think so. We will stay open through November, December, as long as the weather is cooperative, and then see how the weather is through the winter months, and then open full bore in March.
Okay. So maybe June, would that seem reasonable
Yeah.
to the council?
3
Have you
months
come
would be-
back and it would be longer than 3 months, but it'll be a good time right in the middle of the season itself.
It's reasonable.
Is everybody okay with that?
I agree that June will be a good date to return.
So that motion was made by you, Tony? Or Tim?
Yes, I mean.
That was you?
You
All
made
right.
it.
So,
I seconded it.
so could you amend your motion to it? Well, we're going to include that review in June in our June meeting,
June 19th.
June 19th meeting. Thank you.
So well said. Thank you.
Seconded by
Yeah.
Aaron.
Seconded. Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Just so I understand, so that, what does that mean? The review is.
That's a great question. So if we vote to the positive here in a moment,
Right.
it would mean that you got the license and that you need to come back in front of us in June 19th in this
Yep.
particular. And the idea is to review to make sure that there has been no issues. And if there wasn't, it moves forward as
Perfect.
if you weren't in front of us.
Perfect.
So,
Okay.
any other discussion?
No.
Any questions?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Good luck.
Thank
Good
you very
luck.
much.
The next item on the agenda is C1, ordinance 2023-19, Chapter 16, Article 5, stopping, standing, and parking, Section 16-143, parking prohibited at all times. This is correction to ordinance 2023-13 from east side to west side. This is second reading. This is continued from November 1st, 2023, but the applicant is trying an alternate parking bus stop at the moment and requests to continue this to the December 27th meeting.
And I think, Chairman, based on our schedule, I think we're gonna make a motion to continue this to our January 17th meeting.
Yes. So
Okay.
would this be appropriate time that we can discuss it? So what I'm asking the solicitor is, we have a meeting scheduled for the 27th, but we have challenges with attendance and other things going on. So we're hoping to, actually not hoping, we're going to omit that meeting from our schedule. And our following meeting is when?
January 17th.
Thank you. So we could continue this to our January 17th meeting, and included in this conversation would be to omit the December 27th meeting, right?
Yeah, I do two different motions.
Okay, so let's do the first one on this ordinance itself. So with the motion, it would seem to me, is to continue to January 17th.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Aaron to continue to our January 17th meetings or any other discussion?
Just briefly, just like to thank you, the chief, for the report. Very comprehensive and certainly very helpful to understand the dynamics.
Chief, did you want to add anything? Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, this might be the appropriate time to have a motion to add to the agenda discussion of the December 27th meeting.
Can I have a motion to that effect?
So, second.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Tony. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. So the discussion is to omit the December 27th meeting. I don't know if there's any discussion on that. No? All right. Is there a motion to that effect? Nobody wants to make that?
Yes.
So moved.
A motion
So
to
moved,
omit
Mr.
the
Chair.
December 27th council meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Aaron. Any other discussion? Any other discussion?
Hope everybody has a wonderful holiday weekend.
See,
Week.
there you go.
Yeah,
Lengthy, right?
yeah.
There you go. All right. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. You're going to have a few minutes, aren't you?
The next item on the agenda is C3, ordinance 2023-22, Chapter 16, Article 5, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Section 16-152, curb loading zones, loading zone for Charles Street North Side extending 66 feet west. This is second reading.
Motion to approve second reading?
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony, that this constitutes second reading and approval. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is C4, ordinance 2023-23, Chapter 28, zoning, Section 28-1, Section 28-82, Section 28-150, Section 28-152, Article 4, Section 28, 2021, Article 9, Division 6, Section 28-408, Section 28-409, proposed new section 28-161, proposed new section 28-414, miscellaneous revisions reflecting state law changes, first reading and call for public hearing December 6th, 2023.
Make a motion that we move to set the meeting for December 6th, you said?
Yes.
Yes.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Mary, that this constitutes first reading and we'll have calling for a public hearing on December 6th. I have a question. We just omitted a 27th meeting. Does this affect this outcome on the second reading for this, right? So we have a public hearing. So this will all be put in place on the 6th, assuming that we're going to go. Is there any other meetings necessary, I guess is my question.
On the 6th, because there's enough advertising time for
Perfect.
3 weeks of advertising for zoning amendments. So you'll be able to act on this on December 6th and if you desire, adopt it.
So just to clarify, tonight is considered the
First
first
reading.
reading?
Yep.
So
and
second
December
reading would be
6th
adoption.
December 6th would be the second
Second
reading and
reading.
public hearing.
Yeah, and adoption,
Correct.
We're good.
right? We're good?
We're good.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is D2, Robert McNeil, McNeil Design Collaborative, Inc., doing business as the Northeast Golf Company, Bristol Golf Park, 96 Broad Common Road, request for dancing entertainment license. This one continued from October 4th, 2023.
Mr. McNeil, you don't have to say your name again. So
Okay.
this was in front of us back, as the assistant clerk said, on October 4th. There was minor discussion at that point. The council has expressed some concerns about the dancing and entertainment.
Okay.
So for myself, I'll tell you where I'm coming from on it. I would be happy to take a look at this when we talk with you again in June, see how it goes there. I think my colleagues have their, they're going to share their thoughts on it.
Okay.
I don't see that this is, I'm not in favor of this. And I want to say appropriateness, that's too strong a word. I don't want to go there, but it doesn't feel right for me in the area. And I believe that having the limited BV license and the other things that you're doing there, I think is going to be outstanding. This wasn't one of the things that I agreed with, but I'm interested to hear what my colleagues have to say.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to present, like, what, I'm not in favor. I wasn't necessarily leaning towards it, but then earlier, you said you weren't going to have a bar or anything, really a building, you just have seats outside.
Mhm.
And they're going to be doing, so what would you be doing with the entertainment license?
Well, we have events. I mean, we'll have a significant amount of events over the course of the season. We have Sunday afternoons, Bark in the Park, where people come with their dogs and play golf. I mean, our vision is acoustic guitar, sitting in our beer garden, and just, that's it. That's what we're really trying to produce, their vibe, create a situation where people want to stay in the park, hang around and enjoy what we're doing there. That's what it is. It's not, we're not trying to create a concert area. It's really just supporting the day's golf. On a Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, you just play 9 holes and you're having your beer, sitting in the beer garden, and someone's playing acoustic guitar. That's the vision.
Well, I don't know if this would work for you, but I mean, it seems to me like rather than granting this sort of blanket permit that you can do something all the time, sort of, you know, the problem with in my opinion, the problem with entertainment licenses is that everything from an acoustical guitar to whatever, it covers the gamut. Some people have come in, you know, especially in the summer or in the fall, with just a petition to say, okay, Friday afternoons from 4 to 8, I'm just making up the times.
Okay.
And Sunday afternoons from this, these are the 2 dates we're gonna be having special events. And here are the dates that we anticipate doing that through the next several months. I don't know, I think that would be better than having a blanket. And then anytime if you had a special event, like somebody was renting space from you, whatever, I mean, you can come in and just get like a 1-day permit from us.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just wanted to give you an understanding of what we're really trying to accomplish there.
This is my thoughts. So I
yeah,
mean, I don't know what
okay.
my colleagues feel, but.
I wonder, you know, I like that approach. It's a middle of the ground approach, I think. And I wonder too, if maybe there's several events over the course of the year, maybe we can re-examine to see if it might be worthy of maybe a full year entertainment license or something like that. So,
Because I don't think you'd be doing too many of these in the winter, right?
No.
You probably won't be doing them until the
No.
spring. So I mean, I think there's time to, like, for you to rethink what it is that you're going to do and come back with a different proposal for us to react to. Because I don't support like this particular, you know, blanket license for entertainment,
so
especially if you're not having a building.
So if it was restructured as like you said, Fridays and Sunday afternoons.
Whatever you're planning to
here's-
do,
here's
like, I
what
mean,
we're- so
lots
we-
of
so
people
we can
do.
plan, so we can promote exactly what we're
Yeah.
trying to accomplish here, promote it on our side. So it's not just a haphazard thing that, you know, all of a sudden there's some people playing music. We know it's every Friday, every Sunday, and we can promote it and market it and plan it.
Like I would have a limit on it, like during
Yeah.
the season, you know, whatever that may be, maybe into October. But I think there are a couple of other businesses through downtown that, you know, come in for something like that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, like what anybody else thinks, but I think that would be a better approach if that's what your intent is.
Mary, I think that's a reasonable way of looking at it. At small steps, I would like you to make my concerns unfounded. Honestly, I'd like it to be, I'm sure it's going to be positive. We've had other issues, right? And I'm personally trying to avoid that. I'm sure my colleagues are too. But we also want to be accommodating. So we're trying to.
Sure.
So I would be happy with a, as Councilman Perrella suggested, come in with some ideas when they're happening, the hours for it, commit to acoustic only. And that would be part of our, if this council agreed. So something along that line, I'd be amenable to.
Yeah, I just wonder if you could speak to the size of what your scope of size of the entertainment would be, because I am in support of this. I think, you know, it'd be great to have another reason to come to Bristol and to enjoy the entertainment. But if you could just talk to how that size could be contained, so it's.
Yeah, well, right now we have we'll call it a beer garden area behind our building that's been put in place specifically for this use and/or seating after round. And that space, which is on the plan that I gave you, is roughly about 25 by 25. It's not a huge area. We don't anticipate a large amount of people coming to this space. It's really for use of our players as the day progresses and goes along. There may be some event that has 40 or 50 people hanging around after they play golf. We're also, partnering with the brewery too. So the brewery is a resource for us to bring our events to as well. So we want to be able to do both things flexibly outside at our place, inside at his place, and have the
To be a sort of a
flexibility.
connection between the
Yeah.
two to kind of flow in and
Yeah.
out to create an experience.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great.
Like music this past summer, didn't they, on Sundays?
What's that?
Didn't the brewery have
Oh, yeah.
music this past summer?
Yeah.
And they would have their own
Yeah.
responsibility for dancing and
They do, yeah,
entertainment
they have,
license,
yeah,
right?
we're not connected to them in
Right.
that way, but, we're down in our own space, so if people want to hang around down with us, we can do it.
When could you come back to us with for, my colleagues made good point, if we could have more of like a schedule or a little bit of
Sure.
a set of timing.
Yeah, I would
What
think
are
in
you
the next,
feeling?
or after the first of the year probably is fine. We're not going to do anything anytime soon out there. It's too
Okay.
cold. So
Okay.
after the first of the year, we'll have a better idea of our schedule for the season
Mm.
coming up. And that might be a good time to do that.
So
My
our
call-
next
if my-
meeting is January 17th, as you
Okay, that's
heard.
fine. That's
Would that
perfect.
be, is that enough time for you to come
That's-
back to
that's
us?
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we
Oh.
can continue it until that
Yeah,
point?
that'd be great. We get a little bit
You
more
okay with that?
information if you don't mind.
Sure.
Before we do
do it
that,
if they-
Tony,
Sure.
you were going to make a point. Go ahead.
No, just very, very briefly, I echo exactly the same thoughts and sentiments that have been expressed already. And I know you stated before that you run a couple of the golf, clubs or
Yes.
courses, I should say. However, fairly new to us, the business. So I concur with the comments that have been made, and I'm glad that we're not going forward, because I would have voted against. But I agreed that we can modify things and certainly, work with you.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's great. Councilman Tixer. I'll go ahead and make a motion to continue this matter to the January 17th meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to continue, so you can come back in front of us and give
Great.
us a better idea. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is D3, Kyle Olson, Star Laundromat, formerly known as East Bay Laundromat, 26 Gooding Avenue, request a public laundry license, new ownership.
Is Kyle here? Kyle Wilson? No, okay. Council?
I have a couple of questions.
Please.
First of all, this is not a transfer. This is a new business and that's a new startup.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not a transfer. And unfortunately, he's not even here, right?
Right,
I would,
Mr. Olson's not here?
I would make a motion to continue it.
I assume to December 6th.
Yes.
Okay. So there was a
Second.
motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to continue. Well, we don't usually continue this many things, do we? So to December 6th, so we can speak with the applicant to get some more clarity, I would assume. Is that?
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
Any other
It's
discussion?
unfortunate- It's unfortunate he's not here to clarify some questions that I would have had.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is E1, intoxicating beverage license renewals, 2023 to 2024.
Based on the recommendations, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve that.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to approve. Discussion?
Yes, just very briefly, interesting enough, going through it. Nice packet of stuff to read for an hour and a half. But with that being said, it's interesting going through each one of these and see the variety in the offerings that we have in town and how many businesses we support. I know we were just talking about liquor license a little while ago. Well, I'm looking at 49 total, businesses that we have granted some sort of a license, a liquor license, whether it's limited or full liquor license. But I'm not seeing any negative comments. Aside, then I think that we have a couple items to address, but aside from that, It's wonderful to see how things are going. And certainly the thought that we hear quite often, Bristol is destiny to dine. So, I think that's so true. Just look through the menus of these things, makes your makes your mouth water.
In keeping, Tony, you said that we had one to deal with. We had one renewal that was the Nest that had, Chief, could you just speak to this real quickly? Is that there was an advertisement on Facebook?
Yes, officers noted that there was a Facebook posting by the Nest who was offering free shots. Get a drink, get a shot for free between 3 and 6 p.m. And as we noted, that's a violation of Rhode Island General Law 3726, open close bracket B. No license shall advertise or promote in any manner or in any medium happy hours, open bars, 2-for-1 nights, and/or any free drink specials. So we immediately reached out to the applicant. Officer Rosa responded down to that location and took a police report. We let them know we were aware of the Facebook posting. It was immediately removed, and the bond manager, Mr. Edmund Woods, was apologetic for that, and they certainly stated that they would come into compliance with the law.
Thank you, Chief. So I was heartened to hear that they were quick to respond on that, but I want to take the moment and say this council is, and the town is extremely business friendly, all the way up until the point where we get here. This is not okay. They didn't do anything wrong. They complied, which is great, but it's worth making a point here that if they had, we'd have a show cause hearing tonight and they potentially lose their license. We don't want to do that, but this is an opportunity to remind our businesses of how important that they are to us. I think Tony did that very well. But also that it's a responsibility to make sure we keep the public safe. And that action would not have been safe. It didn't happen. And I'm glad that it didn't happen. And I'm glad that we're here tonight so we can speak like that. But it would seem appropriate to me that we should have a 6-month review for the Nest to come back in front, make sure that there's no problems. I don't believe there was any other necessity to do that with any of the renewals. So I would ask if we could amend the motion to include a 6-month review, if everybody's okay with that.
Could I just ask quickly that it seems to me that I'm wondering if it would be worth like a letter coming out from the administrator or, the clerk's office or somebody. We've had a lot of new owners and new businesses starting. And just as a reminder of that,
That's
I
an
think it would be
outstanding idea.
worthwhile.
I think that's
Yeah.
great.
So I don't know if that could go into the motion. but-
Include the ordinance, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm good with that.
Is there can I have a renewed second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
I
Mr.
might
Solicitor.
just suggest so that it'll help the clerk, why 6 months would be your May 29th agenda. So maybe specify the date, May 29th in the motion.
I did say that, May 29th.
I heard
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a second, Tim.
Second. You got
Outstanding.
it. For May 29th.
Any other discussion? Chief, thank you for you and your department for catching that. And I'm glad it worked out positively. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is E2, Sunday sales license renewals, 2023 to 2024.
Based on the recommendations, make a motion to approve.
Second,
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is E3, vitrilling license renewals, 2023 through 2024.
based on the recommendations, I move that we approve it.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to approve. Only discussion, I guess there was a couple of them that had water pollution fees, but that would just be normal as a renewal, correct? Outstanding. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is E4, additional hours license renewals, 2023 to 2024.
Make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to approve. Any discussion?
Aye.
Just,
I have discussion.
I have discussion.
Go ahead. Any discussion?
So you have discussion? You say I have
I ju-
discussion? No.
You're
Yeah.
being
Okay.
proactive, that's all.
No,
No?
just very briefly, I know we're moving through quite a few of these, but due to the diligence of the police department, the fire department, and all the folks involved in the community development, they do the legwork for us to be sure that we have a sound and informed decision to be made.
Well said. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is E5 Amusement Devices License Renewals 2023 to 2024.
Based on the positive recommendations, make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is E6 Holiday Sales License Renewals 2023 to 2024.
Based on the recommendations, I move that we approve it.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to approve. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is G1 Zoning Board of Review, one expired term set to expire in March 2025. So we have a letter of resignation from Elaine White. We also have 3 interested appointments, one from Paul Blazeball, one from Myra Page, and one from Robert Larissa III.
I make a motion that we accept the resignation from Elaine with a letter of thank you for her service.
We can just give it to her right now.
I know. Thank you, Elaine.
And set time to interview.
Second.
There's a motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim, as stated. Elaine, did you want to say? Yes, sure. Before I call for a vote, please.
I just wrote something. It's 3 minutes. Is that okay? I read it out. I'll skip a couple. It's a gratitude letter. And I gave you the pizzelles up there because I
Oh,
wanted.
this was from you.
Yes,
It
this is
was.
for me because I wanted to tell you I had a very sweet 4 years. That's my symbolic gesture for you.
I think there is.
So-
How do you say it again?
Pizzelle, right?
I'm
Pizzelle,
not,
pizzelle, pizzelle.
I don't know how to say it, so I'm not.
They're
Pizzelle.
Pizzelle. They're homemade, but not by me, by a friend of mine.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to say thank you for entrusting me with the honor of serving on the zoning board. It was about 4 years ago that Mike Burns and I, along with Jeff Hirsch, discussed the importance of ensuring that our boards had at least one person who could contribute from the perspective of a business owner. It was most helpful when I served, thanks to Tony, when I was appointed as the business representation on the search committee for the harbor master way back when. And our town has Greg Marsili because of that search committee. Serving on our local boards is a most rewarding experience. It challenged me in ways that I did not expect. One being that I now fully understand what a setback is and the difference between a porch and a deck. When I felt out of my league, and it was often, I read, I met with Andy, I met with Diane, who patiently sat with me, and Ed, I asked questions, I listened. The current board of 6 men have been kind, welcoming, and most importantly, never eye-rolling when I have given opinions that offer not only business perspective, but female perspective. Our boards in our town are of great value and have become much more well-run and professional over the years. I've been on this side of too many meetings in my time as a mother, making sure that our schools were doing best by our children, as a business owner, asking for ways to help tourism in our town, and recently as a homeowner, making sure that the Brady Sullivan project is collaborative. I leave for a few reasons. I am the unofficial line leader of our loosely formed association from church themes, hope, and constitution, and my time needs focus to make sure that our neighborhood has a watchful eye as the Brady Sullivan project revs up. I'm also aiming towards the 250-year state celebration board, which should prove to be an exciting and unique opportunity to contribute my voice to a statewide board. I'm grateful to have such a nice connection with each and every one of you and feel lucky that I can call you all my friends as much as the excellent and considerate leaders of our town. It's my hope that this town council continues to grow our boards with a diverse group of people whenever possible, and to pay special attention to the need to balance our boards when women apply. I highly recommend Myra Page because she has the experience serving on a planning and zoning board in Arizona, where she also ran her own successful business. She offers a business perspective, a female perspective, but also a fresh objective view of our town since she now lives here full time. I've gotten to know her, and her love of Bristol makes for a wonderful asset to replace me as you begin the interview process. So I just wanted to say out loud, I thank you so much for the most wonderful opportunity to serve our town. And I look forward to being a strong voice on other boards in the future. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you. We don't
Thank-
often hear back immediately, so that's,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
good. So we had a motion and a second to, as Tony already stated, is there any other discussion?
Elaine, just want to thank you for all your dedication to all you do for this town. We love your brain. You're extremely smart. You bring a very pragmatic look at everything. And so we're looking forward that you're going to continue in other ways. And again, thank you for all your service.
Well said, Tom.
All set, Tim. Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next item on agenda is G2 Harbor Commission Advisory Committee.
Madam Clerk, I'm so sorry.
No, it's
I
okay.
don't believe in that motion we included if I missed it, I apologize, about advertising. I'm sorry, setting up interviews for,
You didn't state a date. You just said you wanted to set up interviews.
thank you. All right, so we'll just work that out separately. Go ahead, please continue. Thank
Thank
you.
So G2 Harbor Commission Advisory Committee, one vacant seat set to expire August 2026. It was actually a typo in the agenda. The gentleman's name is actually George S. Berman, who lives at 66 Highland Road. Interest and appointment.
Thank you.
I would make a motion that we set interviews, add this to the interview, the date, however date we may select.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim, that we call for, we'll set up an interview. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is I1. Sergeant Morado is for the public service announcement for the 2024 Citizens Academy class.
Good evening, council.
Sergeant?
Good evening,
Good
Sergeant.
evening.
We are in the no shave November, and I actually stopped shaving 2 days ago.
You know, I gotta tell you something.
Wait a minute.
I go in and out of doctor's offices, and COVID was, obviously, we all dealt with it. We all had masks. And I went in about 6 months ago, and somebody said to me, "When did you grow a goatee?" And I said, 20 years ago or so. You forget what people look like with their mask on. So,
So
but I digress, please.
the reason why I'm here tonight, so I just want to do a quick public service announcement on our Citizens Academy. You know, the last academy that we did, which was January of this year, was a huge success. We had to actually turn people away because we had limited seating. But we are starting another Citizens Academy. It was advertised for the start date to be January 11th. However, we're pushing it out a little further to January 25th. And that's because of the simulation machine that we are going to receive. There's only one opening, and that was very popular at the last academy. And I just want to make sure that we have that part of the schedule. So if anyone is interested, there's applications here at Town Hall. There's applications at the police department lobby, and you can also access them online. If someone, for the citizens that are watching this, it's not that you're going to be police officers or nothing physical, nothing like that. It's 10 weeks. It's 2 hours a night. We meet every Thursday. We teach subjects, and you learn about topics as to what we do as police officers, what your police department does, as far as responding to DUIs, domestic violence calls. Just giving you an insight as to what we do and taking that mystery out of some of the things that you may have questions about. And it also strengthens the community police department with our community, which we already have a great relationship. But it's that last class, they've been tremendous in supportive of the police department and even helped us tremendously with the community night out. They just keep offering their services to us as citizens. And we really appreciate that. So we want to continue that success in our 2024 academy. We have 16 applications. There are some seats left over, but it's first come, first serve. So if anyone's willing to join, I suggest that you do that as soon as possible. And by the way, we have 2 employees from the town that have submitted their applications, Lori and Margarita. So hopefully that one of the other council members would do the same like Tim did last year. So
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be part of the 2023 class, and I passed, I believe, right, Sergeant Morano? I did pass.
absolutely did.
But if you're thinking about doing it, definitely do it. I highly recommend it. It's gets you deep into the inner workings of the police department. Our police department lives up to traceability and accountability, and it is so true as you get into each topic. And you start to realize that our police department, from a minute's notice, can be doing a wellness check, and then you're off to an accident, or you're off to something even more serious. And it's just a very dynamic class. Sergeant Morano's jokes, number one, will lift your spirits at every class, starting it off. But all in all, if you're thinking about doing it, it's a very worthwhile 10-week class. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, but please sign up.
Actually, I've had the experience when I was administrator. I did attend the class, so made me a little more official for citizens arrest.
So Sergeant, if someone's interested, there are applications here, there's applications at the police department at the lobby. And then also you mentioned online. Where would they find it
You can,
online?
on our police website.
Okay,
And I believe in the town's website also.
perfect.
But the applications, it looks like this, a pamphlet, it's in the back of the room here, and in the lobby also. It's just a simple application. It's open to residents and people that actually work in the town. So you don't have to live in town. As long as you work or live, you can be a participant.
Chief?
Yes, I just wanted to certainly thank Sergeant Morado and point out Officer Brandon Correa, who's also in the back, who works in the accreditation team and the community outreach team, who are responsible for the Citizens Police Academy. I just wanted to highlight one of the things that you will learn in the Citizens Police Academy is about what it is for a police department to be nationally accredited. I know it's not on the agenda, but it's part of the agenda item. Sergeant Morado and Officer Correa just returned from Bellevue, Washington, where the Bristol Police Department received yet again national honors and the gold standard in accreditation. And we are once again a nationally accredited police department. So thank you very much, Sergeant Morado and Officer Brandon Correa, for delivering that excellence back to the residents of the community.
Sergeant, you made a comment earlier that the police academy helps the police department be closer to the community and the community closer to the police department. As council says this all the time, and it's worth saying it again, respect is a two-way street. You earn that respect. You earn that gratitude. There are other communities, right? We all know other communities, and the response from our police department, not the police department, huge distinction there to ours, right?
Well, I keep saying this and I'll say it again. I mean, we're very fortunate here in Bristol because a lot of communities, they have their own community policing units. And honestly, the Bristol Police Department is a community unit. We are so involved in the different product that we produce to the public, the community night out, the Citizens Academy, the youth leadership camp. And it's pretty evident when a citizen is not afraid to pick up the phone and call us for the smallest of issues to the biggest of issues. And they know they're going to get the same detail and attention from our police department, regardless of the small issue to the big issue. I grew up in Providence, and not to knock the Providence Police Department down, but good luck trying to get them out to a call for the simplest of things. And for us, I believe us and our attention to those little details helps build that trust with the police department, where if we need the public and the bigger items, they're there for us and supporting us solve those crimes and whatnot. So,
Well, job well done. Job well done.
And by taking this class, you'll really see how they don't just talk about it, they really walk the walk. So, so definitely sign up.
So we just need a motion.
No, and I believe you said you don't have to be a police, I mean, you don't have to be someone who would like to be a police officer. Did you say that?
No, this is just for the citizens, but if someone is
Right.
interested, I mean. we
To
do
get
have
a little exposure.
Correct. We have a couple of college students that are in the law
Good,
enforcement program that did sign up.
good.
So
Good.
it's a good experience.
Yeah, excellent.
Glad to hear that. Yep.
Hey, thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to receive and file. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Congratulations again, Chief.
Yep.
Well done. Well done.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is I2. Director Williamson is going to talk about Learn 365 grant insurances.
Hello, Diane.
Hello. So this item is on your agenda for your information. This is something that the town administrator will be looking to sign. I think it's required to be signed this week. And sorry, there's feedback, so I'll sit back.
It's not you.
So this is really just for your information, receive and file. And the second part of my item here is a presentation. Nick Toth, the planner in my department, has been working with Eileen Dyer from the library to do the grant application for the community facilities grant. And so he has a presentation to brief you on and update you on the status of that.
All right.
Welcome, Nick.
Thank you for having me. Members of the council, my name is Nick Toth. I've been with the department since March of this year. Some of you I've had the good fortune of meeting. Most of you I've had the good fortune of meeting, but those of you I have not met face to face. It's a pleasure to meet you. I just wanted to go over briefly where we stand with the Learn 365 program and the community facilities grant that is connected, independent but connected to that grant. I believe Eric
He's putting it up right
can
now.
put it up on the screen for the viewing of yourself, for your viewing and for the public's. If you want to go to the first slide. So as you're probably aware, the town has received $50,000 through the Learn 365 program through the state. And under that program, we are developing or in the process of launching the Bristol Municipal Career and Technical Academy. So the goal with that is to set up career and technical education for after school for students grades 8 through 12. The idea is to give these students that anyone who lives in Bristol or attends one of the Bristol Warren Regional School District schools, introduce them to concepts and careers in manufacturing, design, engineering, trades. Many of the employers that are in town, such as the composites manufacturers. So to achieve that, we're really focusing on connecting real world concepts with classroom, or what's being learned in the classroom. We're doing that through a program that we're calling Career Explorers. That's bringing students out to manufacturers and having them spoken to by people in field, or having them learn mathematics or engineering concepts through a lens of these real world applications. And the first thing that we're really kicking off is a composites program in partnership with the Herreshoff Marine Museum, where students will be building their own skateboards. This is actually launching up in the next 2 weeks, I believe. We have 10. What's that? Started today. My mistake. So we're happy to say that that started today. We have a few students that are very interested. This is free for students, paid for in full by this grant. So we're very excited to start with that. Next slide, please. So the actual administration of this program is in three parts. We have a rather robust stakeholder working group. That's people from the community, education advocates, town employees, members of the library staff, members, at least one member of Bristol Warren Public Schools administrative staff. We've also brought on, and this is something that came before the council, I believe at the last session, a coordinator. We've awarded that to Mr. Craig Evans, who has taken that and run with it. I'm confident that he will do excellent work in that regard. And finally, there is, of course, robust town oversight, both from myself, acting as grant administrator on behind the scenes, overseeing any expenditures and the reporting, as well as programmatic oversight from Eileen and her staff on the more day-to-day. Next slide, please. So this is difficult to read, but this is a brief overview of the budget and how it's broken down. Probably should have broken it into 2 slides. But if everybody's got a printout of that, we can move on to the next slide. So as I mentioned, we've awarded the coordinator position. Craig has taken it and run with it. He's already working with students. He's already set up with the library, and he's taken it and going. We recently presented to the interested students to get them interested in the program as a whole and the skateboard program. Obviously, this presentation's a couple weeks out of date because we have started the program. We're very excited to see how that moves along, and we're really hoping that we can get some photos of the program for people to see. We're also working on developing additional curriculum. As I mentioned, we really want to tie this into real world concepts and how those tie into what students are learning in classrooms. We're working with an adjunct professor in a volunteer capacity from Roger Williams University. He's working very diligently to put something together. And finally, we are starting to see expenses. I do want to reiterate that this is fully grant funded, and everything comes out of that $50,000 awarded to us by the state. Next slide, please. So what we have upcoming, obviously as I mentioned for a third or fourth time now, the Herreshoff Marine program has started. They are running that down at Herreshoff. It's my understanding it's probably going very smoothly. As you can see, Eileen and Craig are here today. We're also hoping to start classroom programming sooner rather than later. We are also going to be sending out the initial reports to the state, which will include the financial reporting that will allow us to be reimbursed. Like I said, everything is going to be covered by the $50,000. Further development is also starting to be discussed, including summer programming and the birth of, shall we call it, of what we are looking to do when it does come time to reapply for this grant, hopefully receiving additional funding from the state. Next slide. So as Diane mentioned, this presentation is also in regard to the Community Learning Center grant from the state. So the tie-in that money is being looked to be funneled into the Rogers Free Library. And these programs mesh in that the state is requiring a signed Learn 365 compact to be eligible for the pot of $81 million. So we are actually eligible for up to $1.75 million through this grant with, I believe, no matching whatsoever to be funneled into capital purchases for the library. Next slide, please. So what made us really focus in on the library in particular is that funding, since the library is in, operational shape, it's, not falling to pieces by any expense, but That 1.75 allows us to make a really generational investment with no town funds, theoretically. One of the other big drivers of that is the requirements imposed on this grant by US Treasury. Libraries are considered a presumed allowable use, which really makes it a lot easier both to get the grant accepted and to ensure compliance with the reporting that's required by Treasury. As Treasury is going to require programmatic reporting on this for 5 years after construction is completed. So it really lowers the risk of going out of compliance or not getting the money at all, which, if you go to the next slide, is one of the concerns we had with Wally School, which was originally, if you had either been filled in on the original machinations of the grant or had seen the article in the Providence Journal about 2 weeks ago, where we had originally considered sending some of this money. Wally, as you know, the bids came in a lot higher. This money would barely cover what we got for a full renovation of the Wally School. And one of the, I'm sorry, it appears there's a typo in my presentation, but just to address that final point, one of the concerns we had was creating a bunch of new programming that would most likely cover what Treasury needed, but the library already has a lot of what they're looking for already going. If you go to the next slide, please. So as I've mentioned, one of the big things on this is going to be programming, and I'll just blow through this. They really want to see education, work, and health monitoring directly and jointly, as they put it, so available at all times. That's already something the library is able to do on a basic level, and we'll be able to expand through partnerships and broadband enabled resources that they could be able to provide. But we do have plenty of time on this. We don't have to start programming until 2026. So we do have plenty of time to really look at what we want to offer. If you go to the next slide, we'll just blow through these. These are just a list of some of the things we would like to see covered by this grant. And as it noticed, this is the third allocation. Every time a community drops out or doesn't use funding, the state is reallocating money. So every time somebody drops out, we've been getting more. And if you jump to the next slide, these are a few of the other things that we're looking to purchase with this funding. And one final thing is this program will also require lengthy public input. Treasury really wants to see a grassroots input on both programmatic and capital improvements. So there will be, very lengthy surveys and public input sessions as we approach the start of this program and construction. And if there's any questions from the council. Yes.
Yes. When you're saying very lengthy surveys, I'm hoping that they're not. I'm hoping
sure.
they're just the opposite, so that people take a much better, a greater interest in responding. So we got to be very careful about the type of surveys that we
Sure,
put
sure.
out.
I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry. I think what I meant to say was there'll be a lot of surveys rather than very long ones.
Okay.
I just had a quick question. On the 365 part of it, you talked about the career and technical education after school. How is that linked up to CTE programs at both Kiwanis and at the high school?
So I believe the idea is to kind of give kids an outlet to continue what they're learning in the CTE programs at Mount Hope and Kiwanis after school. I think that I think well, we did discuss this at length with the Mount Hope program. We don't want to supplant it. We want to make this an additional thing kids can do.
but any kid is able to go there. So if you have a kid that goes to a parochial high school or
Mhm.
private high school, they can come after school to do any of this as well. Am I right?
Correct.
So are you going to be offering additional supports or different activities and different topics than the high school might be offering? I mean, there's like, they have to have a set program, I believe,
Mhm.
CTE programs that are approved by the state, I believe, if I'm correct. Are you going to be like trying to give them more time on task for that? Or are you going to try to give them, like, expand their horizons and hear some other things as well?
I believe the idea is expanding horizons, expanding horizons.
Thank you.
Nick, thanks for being here tonight. Thank you for your service. I just want to ask a couple of quick questions. Diane might have some of the answers for these too. This program that we're kind of starting up right here, is this, are we going to expect this program to be more than 1 year long, or is this
We are really hoping that this is funded for many more than 1 year. Obviously, we are at the mercy of the state. Right now, we'll see what comes out for the program years. I believe at the current moment, we don't really have any sort of revenue stream coming into the program. The idea is to make this free for any student who wants it. But I'm sure as time goes on, we can look into other funding sources to keep it going beyond 1 year. So we're not completely reliant on the whims of the state program.
So it reminds me a lot of the program they had in 2016, even before that, under Governor Raimondo, the Real Jobs Rhode Island program, where they were here in Bristol. They had created a marine trades and composites partnership. It was led by the marine trades industry. Wendy Mackey was a major player in that. They were in the high schools exposing kids to marine trades and careers that were part of the blue economy here in Bristol. So there might be some good lessons, I think, from their experience and the challenges that they had over there. In fact, there's a major study that's been published on it that you can look at to read a little bit more about the challenges that they experienced there. That segues a little bit into my next question. How are we doing with recruitment into the program? How many students are part of the skateboard program?
I believe we have, I think, if I just kind of poll my compatriots. So we have 10 students signed up at the moment.
Okay. Yeah.
I love the quick response. Thank you. So that was outstanding.
That's one of the major challenges, right, of any kind of program like this, is to do outreach, do recruitment. I think the Marine Trades Partnership a few years back faced some of those same challenges as well. I looked back at their numbers. They were about 16 to 21 participants, but some of them were outside of high school. So it was above and beyond that. But certainly 10's a pretty good number if you take into consideration the fact that they had a larger universe of people to select from. So 10, I think, is a good start. I think it's hopefully once there can be a little buzz about this program, you'll start seeing a little bit more of those numbers increasing. And so those are the only questions I have for you. And then the other thing that I'd add about that is, if this is a annual program, or if we want to make it an annual program, we have to be able to demonstrate success with the program and to highlight some of the major breakthroughs that we have with students. And if we have small numbers like 10, what we're going to have to do is tell good stories about how we were able to expose students who would have never otherwise been able to be exposed to some of these programs. And some of those stories can go a very long way in making sure that this money continues to come, and so that we provide opportunities for the youth here in Bristol. So thank you for all that you guys are doing, Diane, you too. And Craig and Myra, I see you back there.
If I may, since I'm involved in two different communities and through the same program here, the purpose of the second part of this, the capital development of particularly we're going to work with the library and the other community that I'm in. We're working with the community center, but it's to make improvements and make it more accessible for future to continue the programs, whatever it's implemented now to be carried through. And that's the support piece there. So,
I would.
but just very quickly, but on the other piece, as far as the 50,000, will it be renewed? There's a whole lot of conversation, listening to the governor on a tri-weekly basis. We're hoping that that comes through, but we'll see. That's great hopes on that one.
I would love to see their success. The kids, I would love to have them come in front of the council and share it with the public. And I'd love to see what a composite skateboard looks like. So I really would. And it sounds like a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to work with Craig to set that up once we have something to show.
beautiful. So Diane, Nick, what action are you looking for on this agenda item?
I believe this is just a receive and file for the, for the council's information.
Outstanding.
I just had a quick question,
Please.
Mr. Chairman. Just had a quick question. The budget looks good. The composite industry, I think it's so important. It's a big part of Bristol's industrial economy here. My question is on Wally School, and there were funds. What I heard, and just correct me if I'm wrong, there were funds that would be redirected back to this program, opposed to going to Wally School, or how was that? If you could just break that down.
Sure. I think that the funds wouldn't be going from Wally to the Learn 365 program. We had originally looked at using the Community Learning Center funds to plug the gaps in what we had between what we had on hand and the bids that we got back for Wally School. And as I said, it just barely covered it. And if you've been in Wally recently,
It needs a lot of work.
it's gonna be a big project. So
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I make a motion that we receive and file with a big thank you to all of you for implementing the program and certainly seeing the success. Yes.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Motion made by Tony, seconded by Aaron to receive and file with a big thank you, I believe, if I caught that correctly. Any other discussion?
Very big thank you.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is I3, Director Williamson, talking about the CDBG housing proposals for home repair program.
We
So
need
I
to
have-
continue this? Is
Yes,
that-
thank you. Due to a technicality, I need to ask you to continue it to December 6th. Thank you.
So moved.
Motion to continue to the December 6th meeting?
So I heard a motion from Tony, seconded by Tim. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is I4, Director of Park and Recreation Renshausen, permission to apply for the RIDEM grant for matching funds.
Warren?
So the DEM,
Can you turn off? It's not you.
okay.
Tim, you should turn off your mic. Thank you. Go
All
ahead.
right, so the DEM has grants every 2 years. So this coming year, December 6th is the deadline to apply. But before I apply for any, there is a matching fund concern that has to be matched by it. So I want to make sure the council gave blessings so that I could apply. And there are 2 grant rounds. As I said in my letter, a small grant, and both require a 20% match. So it's a maximum of $100,000. So it has to be a $125,000 project. And I would like to consider Coelho Park, prepare the basketball court and some playground equipment there. And this is on the capital list that we had put together. We have 2 going in this year. The Rockwell Park down at the bottom of Church Street, and I apologize, I'm shifting a little bit. I've got some neck issues going on, so I'm trying to get some relief. And Cedar Crest Playground became a safety issue this year, so we're replacing that one as well currently. So it just leaves Coelho, Solms, and Betts Park in the Common. But you're going to notice in the next one, the large recreation grants, it is a maximum $400,000 that you can apply for with a $100,000 match. So that would be a $500,000 project. Diane and the CDBG are trying to take care of some drainage issues on the town common this year. And part of the problem is the playground area. Those of you who are familiar, I'm sure, Tim, you've seen it. When the rainstorms come and we have the wood chips down, they all float out to Church Street. So with them having to address the issue and touch the playground, so to speak, it makes sense to try and bump this up, because I did have this on like the end of the list of playgrounds to be replaced because it was the newest. But when I learned that Diane had put in that, it makes sense to try and apply for this and have it all happen at once. So the plan, if you guys agree, would be to finish replacing the playground with the hopes of making it a fully handicapped accessible playground with a poured rubber surface, with a walkway coming from the back of Byfield School to the playground, and also possibly putting in a bathroom over by the, like a vault bathroom on Thames Street, over by the pickleball courts in the gazebo area, so that we can get rid of the porta johns on the common, as well as hopefully for what's called big belly solar operated trash compacting units.
Shout out to Mary.
Mary, you and I.
This is like tattoos for Halsey Harris shop. This is that same kind of vehemency on a positive end, but on a positive end, Mary's mentioned many times in our budget season and other times about getting these.
Yeah,
So
it's got great technology now. So the barrel actually will tell my staff person when it's 75% full and 100% full, so they don't have to go and empty the barrels every day, because they compact it. So once it's getting close to full, he'll get a note on his phone saying that it's 75 or whatever, and then he can go and empty the barrels at that point. So it would save some time if we replace, I figured, the four corners where there are barrels right now. To replace those four corners, it would be solar powered and it would be compacted so that we would get the most bang out of the buck, so to speak.
And I know Independence Park, we discussed it years past where Independence Park always became a problem in the summer with, just, they were always full up.
Yeah.
And we talked about the big belly and getting them down there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, Roger Williams currently has a half dozen or so. If you've been to the Big E in the last few years, they actually have them outside of each state building on the Big E grounds. I mean, it's proven commodity, I think, for the
They
town.
have them all the way, like a lot of places on the Cape. I saw them years ago. That's where I saw it. There's one in the parking lot at the Pawtucket School Administration Building.
Yeah.
There's one there that I park near every single day almost.
Warren,
So I'm
yes,
glad
sorry.
we're finally going to see some of them and maybe get a deal. I know this would be with the grant, but maybe we can squeeze in a couple at Independence Park, because in the summer, on the weekends, that can look like a huge mess.
if we were successful with these grants, when would they be awarded and when would we be matching?
So it would be the next fiscal year, because we would not learn about the requests that we submit on December 6th until the springtime. And then you'd have a year and a half, 2 years to complete.
So we have time to
We
work
have
this
time.
into the budget.
Correct. So
Okay.
we're looking at $150,000 for basically $500,000 that the state would provide us.
Mhm.
And then there's a CDBG funds from that they included to help replace part of the program, but they couldn't replace the whole thing. So
I got to tell you, one of the things I really like about this is your focus on parks other than downtown and other than the Coal State Park, if you will, right?
Yep.
Not because they obviously should be focused on, but Coelho is a great example of the neighbors use that. And I don't live right there, but I know the park very well and it gets a lot of usage, and it's nice to see focus on things other than downtown and Bristol Town Beach.
I agree.
So
The bathroom facilities at the pickleball court and tennis court are going to be a huge, huge plus. I mean, they're very much needed.
Yeah, and you know, the little leaguers can use it too for the T-ball games and all that stuff, because it'll be close enough. It won't be so close to the road. It'll be closer to gazebo where those trees are, so it won't be an eyesore, I think. And although they'll be made out of concrete, it'll look like it's a wood finish because of the siding they put on it, so.
The bathroom facilities at the end of the bike path, they're beautiful. If it could mirror something like that.
It's gonna
I
be
mean, it
very,
would
very
really
similar.
fit the historic look. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna
think
be
they're
very similar.
tastefully done.
Wouldn't it be
yeah.
better instead of just being in the middle, like somewhere along like one of the buildings or something?
Well,
I mean, we don't have to talk about that. It just like strikes me, but I know that that is a big issue there, as we talked about at the last budget,
right.
you know.
So you're looking for this council to authorize you to apply for these grants and commit to that match if successful, correct? Perfect.
Am I to understand that the match will be 100 altogether, though, if we get a match on both?
A match
Because
on
it'll
both
be
would
20
require
125.
150, excuse me, 125,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, between the two, 100,000 on the large grant, 25,000 on the small grant.
I would move that we authorize our Director of Parks and Recreation to move forward and that I know that we have funding usually put aside for open space match such as this.
Second.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Tony to authorize our Parks and Rec Director, along with the administrator, of course, to apply for these grants and commit to those matches if successful. Is there any other discussion?
I just have one question, Warren. I just totally support this and.
Tim,
Yeah,
could you turn yours? It's not you, it's just when
I
all
think
of
it
them
might
are on.
be Warren,
it must
Warren's
be.
microphone being on too. I'm very much in support of this. I think this is great. And I don't feel like this is the first time we've been hearing about these projects either. It's something that we've talked about many, many times that through our capital budgeting process and everything like that, where we're trying to look 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead at some of the projects that are coming online. And so this isn't just a grant coming our way, right, Warren? It's part of a strategic plan that we're moving toward as a town to start getting parks on a rotation where they're getting fixed up and everything like that. And it takes a lot of vision and leadership to do those types of things. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Good luck. Seriously. But before you, the Nick said that we could get 1.75 million. We didn't have to match. So as it goes, he may have won the game, just so. Yeah, it's all right. Assistant Madam Clerk.
The next item on the agenda is J1, bid number 1022, screw pump repair main lift pumping station. We had bid openings today at noon and we received one bid. This bid is from the Hart Engineering Corporation, Inc., in the amount of $867,000.
How much?
$867,000.
Okay.
Motion to refer to the town administrator and the water pollution control to act in the best interest of the town.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Mary to refer to the administrator and the director of water pollution. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
The next item on the agenda is J2, bid 1023, the 4th of July Ball 2024. We received 5 bids today. First bid was from Keen's Wood Fired Catering in the amount of $74.65 per plate. The second was Common Pub and Grill, $100 per plate. Third is Blackstone Caterers, $154.17 per plate. Fourth was Pranza Catering and Events, $134.70 per plate. And the fifth one was Emery's Catering with a total cost of $38,628.25.
Per plate?
I know.
Just making sure everybody's listening, that's all. Council?
I make a motion to refer to the town administrator in the 4th of July committee to act in the best interest of the town.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Mary to refer to the administrator and the 4th of July committee. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is J3, bid 1024, Emergency Medical Services Paramedic. We received one bid. The bid was from Paramedic Systems, Inc. Year 1, July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025, $620,000. Year 2, July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, $651,000. In year three, July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, $683,000.
Council?
I would move that we refer this to the administrator and the fire chief to act in the best interest of the town.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Tony, as stated. Any discussion?
Yes, boy, numbers have really blown up. I remember when there was only like 200, 300. Now we up to 600.
I thought it started around 400 something,
Well,
back in like
probably
the
the most
80s, wasn't
recent.
it? I don't know.
No,
I thought it
no.
was around there.
No, it was not.
Huh?
It was
I don't
lower,
know.
much lower. I remember negotiating this when I was administrator, it was much lower. But anyway, that's what we have before us now.
Right.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is K1, Juan Mariscal, Chairman, Bristol County Water Authority, Tri-County Monthly Report, October 26, 2023.
Motion to receive and file?
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to receive and file. Is there any discussion?
Just very quickly, I'm not gonna go cover everything that's here because we agreed to receive and file, but there is quite interesting information that they provide in quite a few updates that I think it's worth, people paying attention to and noting it. That's what I have to say.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Before we ask for, on our previous one, I always thank boards, commissions for their work, effort, energy, and time they give away from their family and friends to give back to the town. I didn't do it before, but I'll do it now, and just wanted to say thank you. And that's it. So we just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion made by Tim, second by Tony. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
I wasn't sure on that motion,
And
you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.